So here we are in the Capitol Rotunda on the fourth floor of the State Capitol building with Dr. Gene Sherrod, who is the Executive Director of the Washington Student Achievement Council, and a good friend, a longtime public servant, and someone with close ties to North Central Washington too. So Gene, welcome.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to be here with you this morning, Brad.
Thank you, Gene. So we want to talk a little bit about the Washington Student Achievement Council, but before we do that, you have a long history in the Wenatchee Valley, former superintendent of North Central ESD, many years of service in public education. Can you tell us a little bit about your background in education and also specifically in North Central Washington?
You bet. I came to the North Central Washington area in 1991, and I spent 11 years as the ESD superintendent. And that particular job covered 29 separate school districts, Chelan, Grant, Okanogan County, Douglas County, and about 40,000 students. And I had the privilege of serving with you as a board member on the ESD, along with Senator Parlett.
Yeah, that's right. Senator Parlett was a former North Central ESD board member as well. Can you tell us a little bit about your role in the Washington Student Achievement Council? And it's a relatively new, how would you say it, a new department within the state. Can you tell us a little bit how it was formed and then how you ended up with that position?
Yeah, I sure can. It was started in 2012. It replaced the Higher Education Coordinating Board, the HEC Board. The HEC Board's chief responsibility was the 6 baccalaureate institutions. And in 2012, the legislature decided that they needed an agency that would coordinate early learning, K-12, and higher education with a focus on improving attainment for all Washington citizens beyond high school. It's a cabinet level position, so I sit on the governor's cabinet, and that provides me access to the Office of Fiscal Management and others to help increase attainment across the state.
And it's a very worthy goal. It's something that we really need to focus on in the state of Washington. Oftentimes, you know, I serve on the education committee in the House, which is K-12 education. Right. But oftentimes we need to remind folks that we have a K through 20 system. And one of the challenges I see with education in our K through 20 system is so much of the focus, at least for the last couple years, has been on K-12 education. What sort of things can we do to kind of remind folks about the whole K through 20 system and how important it is to give people opportunities the whole way through?
Well, Brad, that's a great question because we really do have to link the entire system from early learning through K-12 through post-secondary, and that's what this agency does. It communicates with the Department of Early Learning, with OSPI and all of the school districts across the state, plus all of the higher ed institutions, our 34 community technical colleges, our 6 baccalaureates, veterans training as well, and in addition, all of our private universities. So we link all that together for the purpose of making sure that all Washingtonians attain at a minimum a high school diploma. That's one of our attainment goals, which we'll talk about in a moment. And number 2, that all Washingtonians have something beyond high school, a degree, a certificate, whatever it might be to help them become gainfully employed in the future.
Well, this seems like a really tall endeavor, and so and I can't think of anybody better than you to serve in this position, to be there around the table with other cabinet members and giving the governor feedback. But you told me a story. It was kind of off air, but when you went through the process and you interviewed for the job, and I'm sure the governor probably recruited you to do it, you kind of had an interesting response when he said, "Hey, you know, can you do this job?"
Yes.
And can you tell us a little bit about what your response is and your philosophy for this position?
Absolutely, and it is a true story. Toward the end of the interview, the governor said, "Can you do this job?" And I said, "Absolutely not." He was a little stunned by the answer and said, "Well, tell me what you mean by that." And I simply indicated that no, I can't do this job, nor can our agency, but we as Washingtonians can do the job. And I asked the governor for his pledge to go ahead and support education from early learning through K-12 through post-secondary, and that if he was willing to give that pledge, I certainly was willing to give the time to do the work.
So you basically see this as a community effort, you know, at the community level, at the local level, and at the state legislature, and basically all the way through the state of Washington. If we all do it together, we can achieve some of these attainment goals. Can you tell us in closing what some of those attainment goals are?
I sure can. First of all, Brad, because I know you feel this way too, education is the best investment we can make in our future. personally, from a civic standpoint, and also from an economic standpoint. Our 2 attainment goals, which will be approved this week, we hope, in the House, got approved by a 49-0 vote in the Senate on Friday, so they're very strongly supported. The number one is that all Washingtonians aged 25 through 44 will have a high school diploma or its equivalent. Currently, as a state, we're at 89%, so we're going to push that to another 11%. Our second goal, more importantly, is that all Washingtonians aged 25 through 44 will have something beyond high school, a certificate, a degree, an apprenticeship program, a baccalaureate, a 2-year degree, whatever that might be. And we anchored that goal to a study that was done for our state by Georgetown University in Washington, D.C., which said by 2018 in our state, 70% of all the jobs will require something beyond high school. So we anchored our goal to that particular workforce goal. Our goal in that particular one has been exceptionally well received by the business community and by members across the state. So we feel very good about that. The House voted 85-10 to move that forward early on, and as I mentioned, 49-0 on Friday. So a lot of support for that, and I want to congratulate and thank you because you've been a strong supporter in that. And I know that personally, and as a family person, you believe that education is the best investment you can make for your children. And we're going to push that forward. And with those goals being approved, Washington will join only a very handful of states that actually have attainment goals in statute. Will be there's less than 5 states across the nation that have done that. So I feel very, very good about where we're going in that regard.
Well, that's very positive here because, if you don't have goals, how do you know where you want to go, right?
Exactly right.
So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Dr. Sherritt, for your time. It's hard for me to call you Dr. Sherritt because I know you as Gene. You're such a nice guy. You've been one of my inspirations for public service for many years.
Thank you.
I appreciate all you're doing and appreciate your good work with the Washington Student Achievement Council. Good luck, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.